Welcome to Inside Talk Show. I'm Carla Elizondo. We are continuing the reading of Neville Goddard, The Power of Awareness. We are on chapter 8, titled Renunciation. It is a powerful word, renunciation. Let me get my things going. All right, here we go. We are on chapter 8, Renunciation. Neville Goddard, The Power of Awareness. Let me get my thing going. Okay. Renunciation. There is no coal of character so dead that it will not glow and flame, if but slightly turned. Resist not evil. Whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him and the other also. There is a great difference between resisting evil and renouncing it. When you resist evil, you give it your attention. You continue to make it real. When you renounce evil, you take your attention from it and give your attention to what you want. Now is the time to control your imagination and give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. You give beauty for ashes when you concentrate your attention on things as you would like them to be rather than on things as they are. Let me double check my mic is working. Yeah. You give beauty for ashes when you concentrate your attention on things as you would like them to be rather than on things as they are. You give joy for mourning when you maintain a joyous attitude regardless of unfavorable circumstances. You give praise for the spirit of heaviness when you're just feeling funky. You be grateful for that. You give praise for the spirit of heaviness when you maintain a confident attitude instead of succumbing to despondency. In this quotation, the Bible uses the word tree as a synonym for man. We are the tree of life. You become a tree of your righteousness when the above mental states are a permanent part of your consciousness. You are a planting of the Lord when all your thoughts are true thoughts. And remember to remind, Neville in this context uses the Lord, our subconscious, our psyche. The Greeks called the psyche, our spirit, our soul, the subconscious. That's the Lord. That's where God is. So you are planting of the Lord when your thoughts are true thoughts. He is I am, as described in chapter 1. I am is glorified when your highest concept of yourself is manifested. When you have discovered your own controlled imagination to be your savior. How many times have we heard the Lord is our savior, God is our savior? We have it in here. When you have discovered your own controlled imagination to be your savior, your attitude will be completely altered without any diminution of religious feeling. Without any diminution of religious feeling. And you will say of your controlled imagination, behold this vine. I found it a wild tree whose wanton strength had swollen into irregular twigs. But I pruned the plant and it grew temperate in its vain expense of useless leaves, and knotted as you see in these clean, full clusters to repay the hand that wisely wound it. That's from Robert Southey. So, behold this vine. I found it a wild tree whose wanton strength had swollen into irregular twigs. But I pruned the plant, and it grew temperate in its vain expense of useless leaves, and nodded as you see in these clean, full clusters to repay the hand that wisely wound it. By vine is meant your imagination, which, in its controlled state, expands its energy in useless or destructive thoughts and feelings. How many times do we feel claustrophobic that it is like those, on Harry Potter, I think. Ooh, in the Goblet of Fire. nerdy. But you know, those vines that like smother and wrap around and grasp them and just suffocate them. We can feel that at times. I definitely have. And it's through my mind, through my thoughts. So by vine is meant your imagination, which in its uncontrolled state expends its energy in useless or destructive thoughts and feelings. Isn't that the truth? Like I've mentioned before, our imagination is a powerful tool. It's like a knife. And if we're usually holding it by the blade, getting cut up, using it for imagining, weaving wondrous, real imaginings of just what we don't want, what we're scared of, what we fear, we literally make ourselves sick. But just turning it around and holding it by the handle and using it as a tool that is helpful, imagining what we want. So by vine is meant your imagination, which in its uncontrolled state expends its energy in useless or destructive thoughts and feelings. But just as the vine is pruned by cutting away its useless branches and roots, prune your imagination by withdrawing your attention from all unlovely and destructive ideas and concentrating on the ideal you wish to attain. Doesn't that just sound so easy? It sounds simple, but it's not easy. So just as the vine is pruned by cutting away its useless branches and roots, prune your imagination. How do we prune our imagination? How do we start using our imagination? How do we start controlling it in ways that serve us, that make us feel good? By withdrawing our attention from all unlovely and destructive ideas and concentrating on the ideal we wish to attain. The happier, more noble life you will experience will be the result of wisely pruning your imagination. Yes, be pruned of all unlovely thoughts and feelings, that you may think truly, and thy thoughts shall the world's famine feed. Speak truly, and each word of thine shall be a fruitful seed. Live truly, and thy life shall be a great and noble creed. That's from Hymns of Faith and Hope. When we were reading this in our group, it was a particularly irritating day for me. I remember this was probably about a month ago. And I was in a bad mood. I was irritated. I was annoyed. I was the perfect heaviness. I had a heaviness, a spirit of heaviness when you're just not feeling good. And so it says, praise for the spirit of heaviness. It completely changed the way I thought. I said, you know what? This is good. I follow my own advice. This is good. And it's okay to have those days. Like I've said before, I do not deny. I do not pretend like, feelings that don't make me feel so good aren't there. I feel them all the way. That's the only way to get through them, is to feel them through. Let them pass like clouds. Don't deny that they're there. They're here to teach us something. Feelings and emotions are just information. It's just information. It's feedback as to what we got going on up in the noggin, the thoughts the tape that's playing, the atmosphere we're creating. This is a good one. I really enjoyed this, and I enjoyed reading it again, and I can get something new each time. That's why repetition is the key to learning, understanding, knowledge. So there is a great difference between resisting and renouncing. That's exactly what I just was trying to say. There's a difference between resisting and renouncing. So if I have a negative feeling, a spirit of heaviness, bad mood, irritation, if I resist it, that's me resisting. I'm not accepting it. I'm not letting it pass through me. But renouncing it is knowing it's there, but not today, Satan. I know you're there, but I remain unmoved. It will have no control over me. Even though I'm feeling sad, it won't last, and I'm grateful. I can be in a spirit of gratitude because there's many things to be grateful for. I'm renouncing. And Gentini, my good friend, I wrote it down here. The difference between resisting and renouncing is observing, just observing, witnessing, rather than absorbing it. We do not let things, when we resist it, we're fighting it, we're defensive, we're using all of our energy, like it said, in useless and destructive thoughts and feelings. We get tangled up in it. We just let it take over. We're fighting it, we're resisting it, we're wrestling with it. We want it to be different. We're trying to polish up a piece of poop. It's okay. Poop happens. It's okay. But renounce it. And I looked up the word, renunciation. It's to relinquish. Just let it go. Surrender, right? Surrender. Yield. Surrender. That's good. That's really good. Because the opposite of renunciation is to allow or to approve of or to agree with. When bad things happen, I don't agree with it. But we think by fighting it, hello, this is big. When something bad happens, we think by wrestling with it, by trying to change it, resist it, we're making it better. But really, it's our uncontrolled state, and it's energy, it's useless, it's destructive. But to renunciate instead of resist, renunciation is surrender, yield to it, let it flow through you, in and out. I remain unmoved. I can handle it. We can handle it because it's the real acceptance of it. It's surrendering to it. We can really get into this juicy stuff. If you have any thoughts, please comment. But it's pretty simple. It's like positive denial. I know it's there, but it has no power. I'm not going to let my mind be dragged raked over the coals. It is purposeless. It will lead me nowhere. Like when there is a really serious situation, if you've ever been in an emergency situation, what helps? Is it the person who's screaming and flailing and hysterical? Or is it that someone who is sober of mind, accepts what's going on and starts problem solving and starts taking action? You don't want the Kermit the Frog. Ah! You want, you get into mode. And we do know that. I really think that we step up in moments of crisis. We really get into that. It's just something kicks in. It's like a deep awareness within us. Like, this is serious. There's no screwing around. So, Renunciation, Chapter 8, The Power of Awareness, Neville Goddard. Love it. I hope you enjoyed that. We will continue Monday, same time, same place, with Chapter 9. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. It is always a pleasure. Remember, it's an inside job.